It was great. Monday night, or Monday afternoon, we were supposed to meet over in Central, and Fred and I were supposed to give our testimony, and Thomas was supposed to preach. Well, they had it in the place where they had the karate exhibition, which was right next to the street, the main street in Central. And I'm sure somebody got a picture of one of those buses down there, but dear Lord, it was an experience to just see them things are coming. There's not a stop sign in Venezuela. Anywhere that I saw, there's 3 traffic lights and they didn't work. And when they drive, they go up to an intersection, they'll stick their arm out the window and do this and just go on in. I'm telling you, we didn't see the first accident though. We got to Atlanta, we saw 5 before we got half a mile from the airport. But we were supposed to do that Monday afternoon, and Thomas had his message ready, and Fred, we were like, okay. We got over there, and the church there in Valencia had all their children come over there, and they brought us gifts. They brought us papers of that they had made and whatnot, and wanted us to bring them back and give them to the Sunday school classes and have them fill them out and send them back. And these children are precious. I mean, they're adorable. They come up to you and hug you, and then they'll give you the stuff. Well, all this was, it was great. That was warm up. And then they sung. It got even better. And then they come through and give some more. And they was giving this to Thomas and Brother David to bring back to the churches and whatnot. Well, I looked over there, and Thomas is squalling like a baby. I'm like, great. I won't have to give my testimony. He's over there crying. So I gave him face. I was good to go. Fred got up and gave his. Fred got me there. He gave his testimony was great. Had to give a plug to Wilma. We missed you, Wilma. But then I had to give mine. I got about a third of mine done, and it was all over with. I looked over and Thomas was squalling, and I was too. I don't remember what all I said, but I remember I got about a third of it out. I gave God the glory and sat down. Thomas got up there and tried to preach, throwed his notes at Fred and preached like a madman, squalled the whole time. Before it was over with, had 12 saved that night. And we're supposed to have been preaching to some of the church people, but these people, they'd walk up, it was open around the walls there halfway up, and they had a fence up around it, but they could hear. And they heard it on the sidewalk, because you had to scream to get over the traffic. And of course, Thomas is sort of loud anyways, but they heard the word, and people were being saved. It was an awesome experience. And like I told them, it's difficult talking up here, period, but try talking with a translator. You have to say a sentence, then wait for him to translate it, and then remember where you were at. I'm prone just to babble like I have tonight. But they did a great job, did an awesome job. The church at Quigway it's in dire need of some help. The church at Valencia was full the Sunday we were there. They had better than 75 people packed in a room that shouldn't have had 40 at the most. But they was happy, they was praising God, and they was going to town. So were we. The church at Quigway it's a new church. They've got great plans, and they're planning on building on the people that were saved over there. And that church will grow if we'll keep them in our prayers and they continue. Through babbling now. Thank you.
What can I add to that? Boy, that's loud. Or am I loud? Well, I made a few notes, but it won't be long. I'll just tell you some things. First of all, I want to say thanks to the Lord for such a privilege. I want to say thanks to the church for all that you've done in seeing us be able to go. Next, I want to say thanks to Brother Thomas. We have got a great pastor. He done a lot of hard work on this, and some of us know a little bit about it because of the emails that we were permitted to get. But he done a great job, and it went through great. And this morning, as we sung, Because He Lives, to us that went on that trip, that song has a new meaning. Because, like they said, the songs that they sung it in Spanish, and we couldn't understand it. But a few of the songs, and this is one of them, excuse me, we knew. And they would sing it in Spanish, and we would sing it in English. And they would clap their hands and do like this. And Brother Gary said Brother Thomas and I would even get out of key clapping our hands. But anyway, he didn't even try. Yeah. But it was great. Brother Jeff made the statement about what Brother Thomas said about we'd never be the same. And that's true. That's true. And you know, I can stand here and folks can and tell you about things, and you just wouldn't believe it. Maybe you understand what I mean about believing it, unless you've seen it. You just have to see it. And if you ever get a chance, do go. The amazing thing about the whole trip, I guess to me, was the people's response to the gospel. I mean, you would talk to them, tell them who you were and what you were doing, and you'd give them the plan of salvation, and then you'd ask them, would you like to pray and ask the Lord to forgive you and to save you? And they'd say, we. And you know, it's just, here people say, no, not now, or maybe later, or no, I don't want it. But it was amazing. I remember the first boy, best I remember, one to the Lord's name was John. And then Brother Harlan and I and Brother James, we worked together mostly. And our translator was Juanita most of the time. She was a 24-year-old girl, great little girl. I told her I was going to adopt her as a daughter. And the lady that most of the time went with us, Angela from the church, and it's like Brother Gary, I believe was said, we was over here talking to some, and she seen some little boys after we finished. She went over here and won 7 or 8 little boys to the Lord, you know, herself. And it was amazing. Yeah, it was before we finished in. Yeah, because the translator was still with us. That's right. And it was amazing. But I told the class, I'm sure all of you have seen how we used to take corn and throw to the chickens, how they grab it. That's the way they would do those toys. It was just heartbreaking. Toys that our children wouldn't even just turn away from. They loved them. And even the grown-ups would like to get things. And the Bibles, it was just like you was handing them a $1,000 bill. I mean, they would just, and they'd come up and ask you for a Bible, if one of them didn't get it, or give to somebody else, you see. And it was just great. I remember one lady that I got to win to the Lord. Now, mostly, well, all I did was door to door, okay? The other boys did the clinic and all, but one lady that I won to the Lord, I remember her name was Hope. And I thought after she got saved, she did have hope. Amen. And it was so great. I was a little envious of Brother Harlan, because one house he went to, they just, when he started, is just a few, then they just kept coming in. There's 6 or 7 in one house. It got saved there, I thought, well, why couldn't that have been mine? But the Lord did permit me, I believe it was Brother James and I at one house, that there was about 6 or 7, and they just, it was amazing how that they responded to the gospel. And like they said, the city, the traffic, you wouldn't believe how people drove and what they drove. The van that we rode on, matter of fact, we had 3 different vans. The transmission went out in the first, and I hated it happened, but it was the best for us because the tires was so bad. I mean, you could see, they was talking about the front tire, and I looked and I said, hey, there's a screw in the back tire, and Gary said the left back was worse than that, and so I didn't look at it. But if you had to stop in town at a certain place, if you had to stop, one night we went to call home, and when we stopped at the it wasn't a red light, I reckon so much traffic we had to stop. This guy sprayed and washed our windshield while we were stopped now, and then stuck his hand out for money. People were standing there selling roses. One guy I seen selling coconut candy. They were doing just whatever they could, for